This is an Mja Inc. investigations warning. This Mja podcast is rated E for explicit. Some details of a case and language used on this podcast might be upsetting to some of our listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised. And for those who are still with us, kick back and enjoy the show. Welcome to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 10, 8 Missing Persons. When Mja Inc. walks into an investigation, we use 6 senses: hearing, sight, touch, smell, taste, and the last being mental. Using your mental abilities will bring the other 5 together like a tossed salad. When you have a missing person case with no direction to follow, you might have to cross county and state lines to find your answers. Working on missing person cases are very time consuming in every being of your life. In some cases, you have to make time for yourself and for your overall mental health. Good evening. My name is Mark, and I will be your host for tonight's show. Joining me later will be our co-host, Olivia. Olivia and I will profile 8 missing person cases covering 4 states. We are coming to you from Morrisonville, New York. Welcome to Georgia. Case 1. It was on March 25, 2002 is when 24-year-old Michael J. Way, a black male, disappeared, leaving no trace behind from Atlanta, Georgia. Case 2. It was on August 14th, 1991 is when 19-year-old Sabrina Lee Long, a white female, vanished without a trace from Macon, Georgia. Welcome to Idaho. Case 3. It was on June 2nd, 1999 is when 48-year-old Darwin Kenneth Vest, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Idaho Falls, Idaho. Case 4. It was on March 25th, 1977 is when 22-year-old Diane Marie Schulte, a white female, vanished without a trace from Napa, Idaho. Welcome to Illinois. Case 5. It was on November 21st, 2006 is when 19-year-old Jesse Warren Ross, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Chicago, Illinois. Case 6. It was on June 8th, 1990 is when 30-year-old Jerry Lynn Duvall, a white female, vanished without a trace from Shorewood, Illinois. Welcome to Iowa. Case 7. It was on March 7th, 1991 is when 20-year-old Matthew John Ferris, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Des Moines, Iowa. Case 8. It was on April 12th, 1981 is when 32-year-old Naomi Wilson, a black female, vanished without a trace from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, Olivia will be on the line. Olivia and I will profile 8 missing person cases covering 4 states. Be back in a moment.
I've been searching in the dark, trusting every clue I've found, but the truth has not been told. Is every corner of these woods is hollow. I can't see in the dark.
Welcome to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 10, 8 Missing Persons. We have Olivia on the line. How are you doing on this fine evening?
Good.
All right. Are you ready to dig into these unsolved mysteries?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to Georgia. The Doe Network has 32 males and 55 females listed as being missing from the state of Georgia. Case 1. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia. Missing person. It was on March 25th, 2002 is when 24-year-old Michael J. Way, a black male, disappeared leaving no trace behind from Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Way was last seen at 1940 Fisher Road Southeast on March 25, 2002. In 2011, Atlanta police detectives determined that 24-year-old Way had been kidnapped from in front of 2280 Cary Drive in Southeast Atlanta. After the kidnapping, the 24-year-old Way was driven to an undisclosed location and killed. From there, Way's body was buried in a wooded area near the old South Bend Historic Cemetery on Forest Park Road in southeast Atlanta. Investigators have identified 10 to 13 people they believe were involved in the man's slaying. The area near the cemetery was searched, but the 24-year-old Mr. Way's remains were not found. No one has been charged with the murder of Michael J. Way. The case remains open. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Atlanta Police Department Detective David Loy at 404-546-5602. That is 404-546-5602.
Case 2. Welcome to Macon, Georgia. Missing person. It's on August 14, 1991, when 19-year-old Sabrina Lee Long, a white female, vanished without a trace from Macon, Georgia. On August 14, 1991, Long was last seen at her stepfather's house in South Macon's Bloomfield area where she was living. On August 13, 1991, Long worked her second shift at Bid Manufacturing. The 19-year-old Long got off work at 2300.
Yes.
Long then stopped by her boyfriend to trade cars. She had been driving a Camaro because her truck was having problems. Boyfriend drove her home and left. The 19-year-old Long phoned her mother between 30 and 1.
Yes, 0:30 and 1:30.
That's what the military time. And she said she was going to visit a neighbor. Long's stepfather returned home at approximately
3 p.m.
3 p.m. The lights were on inside Long's truck was in the driveway, but Long wasn't there. Long's boyfriend arrived at his stepfather's home during the morning hours of August 15, 1991, looking for the 19-year-old Long. Call to Bid Manufacturing revealed Long hadn't called or shown up for work on Wednesday. The 19-year-old Long also hadn't picked up the paycheck. Long's work clothes from Tuesday were on the floor of her bedroom. Long's purse and makeup were in the house. Long's mother said that her 19-year-old daughter received several obscene phone calls prior to her disappearance. Long scheduled an interview with a local company during the summer of 1991 and was excited about the possibility of working there. Her mother said that Long learned an appointment had never been scheduled, which she called to confirm the time shortly afterward. There were rumors that Long had a secret boyfriend who lived near Lake out of town who may have picked her up. No evidence has been located to confirm the rumors. In 2018, Melinda Hill McSwain, who had been a schoolmate of Long's at Macon Southwest High in the late 1980s and early 90s, was arrested on a kidnapping charge. A few months later, McSwain was indicted for malice, murder, and felony murder and kidnapping with bodily injury in connection with Sabrina Long's case. A grand jury returned an indictment that said McSwain abducted Long, held her against her will, and that the kidnapping resulted in Long's injury and death. Foul play is suspected in the disappearance of 19-year-old Sabrina Lee Long. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Perry office at 478-987-4545.
Welcome to Idaho. The Doe Network has 25 males and 13 females listed as being missing from the state of Idaho. Case 3. Welcome to Idaho Falls, Idaho. Missing person. It was on June 2nd, 1999 is when 48-year-old Darwin Kenneth Vest, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Idaho Falls, Idaho. In the early morning hours of June 2nd, 1999, the 48-year-old Vest was seen walking downtown. Earlier that evening, Darwin Vest had walked from his home to a bar for a weekly trivia game with friends. Then Vest and another friend went to another bar. The 48-year-old Vest eventually decided to walk home in the rain, declining a taxi ride. Walking at night has been Darwin Vest's trademark. Vest was probably a little drunk, and he didn't hold his liquor very well. The 48-year-old Vest's route may have taken him by the river, where he often gathered data about spider habitats. Vest is an internationally renowned expert on hobo spiders and other poisonous spiders and snakes. The self-taught scientist and owner of the Eagle Rock Research in Idaho Falls is known worldwide for his expertise about snake and spider venom. The 48-year-old Vest has published articles in scientific journals and testified about poisonous bites in court cases across the country. Although Vest would sometimes take trips to search for snakes or spiders, he would never leave without letting his family know his whereabouts. The family believes foul play was involved in his disappearance. The 48-year-old Darwin Vest had been assaulted and robbed a few years earlier, and some suspected that his attackers had returned. But police checked all those leads and didn't find anything suggestive of a crime. It was also suggested that Vest may have fallen into the rushing Snake River that cuts through downtown. Just a few hours after Vest's disappearance, a woman who lived several miles south of Idaho Falls called police to report she'd seen the body of a man floating on the river. A few years after the 48-year-old Vest's disappearance, the family learned that a police officer had seen someone laying by the riverbank that night, but assumed it was a transient sleeping. The 48-year-old Darwin Vest was declared legally dead in March 2004. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Idaho Falls Police Department at 208-529-1200.
Case 4. Welcome to Nampa, Idaho. Missing person. It's on March 25th, 1977, when 22-year-old Diane Marie Schulte, a white female, vanished without a trace from Nampa, Idaho. It was around 7:20 a.m. on the morning of March 25th, 1977, when 22-year-old Diane Marie Schulte was last seen by her husband at their home in Nampa, Idaho. When the husband, Fred Schulte, returned home from work, he noticed that the car was still at home and the mail was still in the box. The UPS package was also on the porch of the residence, but his wife, 20-year-old Diane Schulte, was gone. Diane Schulte's husband, Fred Schulte, reported her missing to Nampa police. All of Diane Schulte's belongings were still at home. 22-year-old Schulte's purse and money were at home as well. Diane Schulte didn't have a history of just taking anywhere unless she notified her family and friends. 22-year-old Schulte had been described as a shy, introverted, reclusive person. Fred Schulte, Diane's husband, ended up committing suicide 3 days before he was to take his polygraph. But in the note, Fred stated the cause of his suicide was his grief at losing his wife. The 22-year-old Diane Schulte has never been heard from again. Schulte's body has never been found, and the case remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Nampa Police Department, Detective Bryce King, at 208-465-2257.
Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, Olivia and I will profile 4 more missing person cases. Be back in a moment.
I've been searching in the dark, trusting every clue I found. But the truth has not been told. Is every corner of these woods is hollow. I can't see in the dark.
Welcome back to our MJ podcast. This series, Cases State by State, Episode 9, Part 10, 8 Missing Persons. Welcome to Illinois. The Doe Network has 95 males and 102 females listed as being missing from the state of Illinois. Case 5. Welcome to Chicago, Illinois. Missing person. It was on November 21st, 2006 is when 19-year-old Jesse Warren Ross, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Chicago, Illinois. Jesse Ross was a sophomore at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. The 19-year-old Ross was attending a Model United Nations conference in Chicago with 13 other students and their faculty sponsors. The 3-day conference, which drew more than 1,000 college students from across the country. The conference was held at the Sheridan Office Towers at 301 East North Water Street. The last night was supposed to end with a dance, but at 2 a.m., the 19-year-old Jesse Ross and other student members of the Model UN Security Council was called to a late-night crisis simulation. At about 2:30 a.m., they decided to take a break. Jesse Ross got up from his chair and walked out of the room. A surveillance camera in the hotel lobby caught Jesse Ross's image. This is the last known sighting of 19-year-old Jesse Ross. Ross reportedly stepped out the back door, which allegedly led to a shortcut back to their hotel that the students said they had been using. The route was well lit, heavily traveled, and covered by outdoor security cameras. None of them recorded the 19-year-old Ross, and there is no evidence that Ross returned to his room. The next morning, as the college students were getting ready to head home, Jesse Ross was nowhere to be found. In 2005, Jesse Ross had traveled to Chicago for a previous Model UN trip. At that time, Ross was mugged while shooting night photos of downtown, and his digital camera was stolen. A police report was not filed. Before this trip, Jesse Ross's parents cautioned the 19-year-old to be careful on this trip. There has been no activity on Jesse Ross's credit cards or his cell phone since he disappeared. The case of the disappearance of 19-year-old Jesse Ross remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Chicago Police Department 12th District Detective Mike Roth at 312-747-5789.
Case 6. Welcome to Sherwood, Illinois. Missing person. It was on June 8th, 1990, when 30-year-old Jerry Lynn Duvall, a white female, vanished without a trace from Sherwood, Illinois. 30-year-old Duvall was last seen at her Sherwood home on the night of June 8, 1990, by her husband, Robert Duvall. The two young daughters had spent the weekend in Michigan with their grandparents. They returned home to find their mother missing. It had been 4 days since the 30-year-old Duvall went missing, and this is when Jerry Lynn Duvall's mother insisted for days that Bob should report his wife as missing. So the police were 4 days behind on the investigation from the start. Bob Duvall was reportedly abusive and had been named as a suspect in his disappearance. Several months after Duvall disappeared, her daughters found their mother's ID and credit card stuffed into a pocket of a snowsuit. The 30-year-old Duvall had run away from her husband before, but never vanished. The day Jerry Lynn Duvall disappeared, the couple was supposed to close on the sale of their house in Joliet, Illinois. Jerry Lynn Duvall's car remained in the garage, which was disabled by her husband. There has been no activity on bank accounts Duvall had secretly set up in her and her children's names were never touched since Duvall's disappearance. There has been no trace of 30-year-old Jerry Lynn Duvall. There have been no clues to Duvall's location that were ever found. The disappearance of 30-year-old Jerry Lynn Duvall remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Shorewood Police Department Deputy Chief Jason Martin at 815-725-1460.
Welcome to Iowa. The Doe Network has 44 males and 29 females listed as being missing from the state of Iowa. Case 7. Welcome to Des Moines, Iowa. Missing person. It was on March 7, 1991 is when 20-year-old Matthew John Ferris, a white male, disappeared without a trace from Des Moines, Iowa. The 20-year-old Ferris first disappeared from his hometown of Des Moines, Iowa on July 25, 1990. Ferris told his family he needed a day off of work to help a friend move. Later, his father discovered a note from Ferris at the family's home in which his 20-year-old son apologized for any pain his disappearance may have caused his loved ones. Ferris returned to Iowa 1 week later after his father had found the note, and Ferris apparently was frightened. Ferris underwent psychiatric treatment for the next 6 months. The 20-year-old Ferris also enrolled in Iowa State University. Matthew John Ferris was last seen by his family in February of 1991. The 20-year-old Ferris' father stated that Matthew was behaving abnormally, that Ferris seemed to be exhibiting manic behavior and was happy, which was unlike Ferris's character at the time. After telling his family he was going to the movies, Matthew John Ferris disappeared. It was learned that 20-year-old Matthew John Ferris apparently was headed to Custer State Park in South Dakota. Ferris's family believes that Ferris elected to travel to that destination because he enjoyed the Native American folklore. 20-year-old Matthew John Ferris has never been heard from again. Ferris was reported missing on March 7, 1991, and the case remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Des Moines, Iowa Police Department at 515-283-4800.
Case 8. Welcome to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Missing person. It was on April 12, 1981, when 32-year-old Naomi Wilson, a black female, vanished without a trace from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Colbert Beats, Naomi's boyfriend of 3 years, attended a noon church service. The 32-year-old Wilson usually attended, but on April 12, 1981, Naomi Wilson didn't attend services with her boyfriend. Beats returned to Naomi's home at 1618 13th Avenue Southeast mid-afternoon. Around 4 p.m., Beats and Naomi left her house within minutes of each other. Beats went to his mother's house. The 32-year-old Naomi Wilson went to get gasoline from her car and to visit a friend she worked with at co-op plant. An hour later, Naomi Wilson and her boyfriend Beats passed each other on the street going in opposite directions. The disappearance of 32-year-old Naomi Wilson remains unsolved. If you have any info concerning this case, please call the Cedar Rapids Police Department, Lieutenant Greg Furnish at 319-286-5478.
Okay, Olivia, is there anything you would like to add to any of these cases?
Just the two with the husbands, the one that was abusive and the other one, what did he killed himself?
Yeah.
I think those women died at the hands of their husbands. That's just my feeling. And these college kids, they need to like just stay at campus and stuff, disappearing, going off on your own, because you want to explore, yeah, but at that age you're really, not too worldly. And I noticed that a lot of the college kids that disappeared, or they went off on trips somewhere alone or this and that, and it's just not a safe world, and it's just how I feel.
Okay.
What do you have to say about it?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of college students that come up missing, more than what was publicized. I noticed the trend started really in the 60s and just started working its way up. And a lot of them in the 70s. I mean...
You realize you're essentially you're just out of high school. You're still a kid.
Yeah.
You haven't been outside in the outside world alone. College is a different thing. They're by themselves. So it's not with the parents anymore. They want to explore everything. And sometimes bad things happen.
Yeah. Okay, I want to thank Olivia for being on the show tonight. I also want to give a special thanks to our viewers and listeners for tuning in, for you all have been so kind. I have 2 quotes for you all tonight. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up. George Herman Ruth. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Helen Keller. Always remember, folks, that if you ever get bored with nothing to do, well, take a walk deep into the woods. You might be surprised at what you might find. That's the end of our MJ podcast, this series, Cases State by State. This has been Episode 9, Part 10, 8 Missing Person Cases. We say to all of you, good night from Morrisonville, New York, located in the Adirondack Mountains.